I'm a really unique DJ. I'm not typically a standard DJ. I play a lot of really heavy stuff, aggressive drum and bass music, a lot of heavy stuff, and I don't do very much scratching. I'm not a scratcher. But with the vinyl on the NS7 II, I found a way to kind of get by that. I can actually scratch without even using the crossfader, so I don't need any crossfader chops. I can just baby scratch. And since you guys can't even hear it, listen to the volume level. The volume is cranked right now, and if I were to hit a button, we would probably all go deaf, but that's how quiet it is. I mean, you can see how quiet the speakers are. You hear no hissing. So I can actually use that to my advantage when I go and I play this track back and I have the scratch track. I'm not cutting, but if you listen, when I come back to the sample, it's quiet. So I can actually scratch without the crossfader and just leave it over. And you're not going to hear anything because there's no noise. So, I mean, even for me, I'm not a scratch artist, I can even scratch on this thing. So let me show you some features. So I'm going to play a track back and we'll show you some of the cool things that this does. So first thing is real MPC pads. So now I can hit my cue points right from here. So if I hit this, I can start my track playing back. Now from here, I have all kinds of controls I can use to affect the sound. And one of those is this new 4-channel mixer. So from here, I have a dedicated filter on every channel, which no one is doing right now. So I hit my filter. And then the other side is my low pass, so I can use those for effects. Now what's even better is I have a touch button here. I turn my touch control on, my filter roll. Now listen. As I turn more, and the second I let go, it drops right back into the track. Really cool, right? No one's doing one-fingered filter beat rolls anywhere. Cool, so now we also have kills. So in here, I can actually kill stuff just by holding the shift key. I can kill my highs, my mids, and my lows, just with my fingers. Can even add an effect here, so let me go into my effects. Trigger some cues. You get the idea. You can play with these cue points, remix anything. I mean, we're just basically doing a dubstep remix of a remix, all just with the pads. So like I showed you guys, you get your filter roll. Now here's another thing. Apart from filter roll and the capacitive touch like that, it's also the same thing with effects. So if I turn on my effects, I have dedicated effects controls. So you hear my effect. And when I can have it, so when I touch this, it will turn on, or when I touch it, it will turn off. Let me turn my touch on. Here's my effect. When I let go, it turns off. It's that simple. So it gives you a different way to control the music because you can just touch things rather than doing things. So now, I could never say, I want you to drop treble, mid, and bass all at the same time. I couldn't do that because I only have two hands. But now it's easy. I just hold shift and touch, and it's gone. Now, with the scratching, the other deck, so I can lay effects. Really easy to scratch. As I showed you, I'm not a scratch artist. I'm not really good at it, but I can scratch. It's really simple. And a couple of things we did too is we added our hotkeys up into the side. So if you're one of those guys who likes to hit their cues that way, I can do that right from these. So if I'm scratching, I can change my cue point with my thumb. So it's really that easy, and Keith's actually going to show you a lot more of that tonight when he comes by. For those of you who just joined us, we have Keith Shockley from Public Enemy. He's going to actually give a full-blown performance on this in a little bit. So these are the most important part of the whole piece, are these motorized turntables. What are they? They're actual real turntables in there. They have a real motorized turntable, direct drive turntable in there, and they're real vinyl, and you could actually add your own vinyl. You could take these, put your own 45s on there, whatever you want. We got people who get gold ones, clear ones. They sell them here. You can get them from Rock and Soul, and you just pop them on there, and you're going to have your own customized vinyl platter. Now these actually have 3,600 ticks of resolution per rotation. And that's why they're so accurate. So if I go in here, and I'm going to just give you guys an example, I'm just going to play a track. I'm going to hit the beginning of my other track back. And I have a couple things here called start time and stop time, just to give you an idea of how realistic these platters are. I'm going to go ahead and stop my track, pause my track. And this is an MP3. So it's just as realistic as a real turntable can possibly get. And what we're doing is we're using a thing called 14-bit MIDI. So normally, if you guys are familiar with MIDI, MIDI's 8-bit. That's usually what MIDI is, normally. This is actually so advanced that this has 14-bit MIDI encoding, so it's high-definition MIDI. So that's why it only works with Serato DJ, because the other software out there can't actually handle the high-resolution technology of this platter. All that means is when you scratch, you're going to feel every little tiny space in there. And it's completely realistic. So in here, you get your motorized platter, there's a little butter rug under there, a little slip mat, and so it's just as real as any real turntable's ever going to get for you. Same thing with this stuff. I'll show you over here, the track back. A couple other features that are really important to NS series in general are the bleep. So if you're doing a G-rated show, maybe you're doing a high school dance, I can mute out and bleep. And when I let go, it'll bring the track right back in where it was. You also have a reverse function. And for all you Pioneer cats out there who aren't used to the moving tables, we actually have a thing called slip mode, and we actually have a motor off mode. So if I wanted to, I could still play this track, I can still scratch, but it's just freewheel pitch control, just like Pioneer. So no matter what you decide to do, you're going to have it on this thing. On the front, you get a lot of different things. There's I don't know, you guys can't see it, but there's a thing called fader contour. And the fader contour will switch if you're a house DJ or if you're a scratch artist. So right now, as you can see, I have the contour all the way to the side. So the second I move the fader, you can hear it's going to fade over, right? I can hear it. Just a beat.
It doesn't do that.
It won't do that. No, that's the thing. Yeah, no. And then on here, if I change the contour, now I'm in a house fade, so it will slowly fade in. Hear the slow fade? So there's two ways I can use this mixer. I could scratch, have the fader contour all the way over, have my scratch track going, be scratching, cutting. I could cut. Let me stop this. I could cut. Okay? But if I turn this over on the other way, now when I have two tracks playing back, I can just fade right between the two. So depending on what style you are, this is going to handle it all. So the scratch artist can't say, well, that's not for me because that's more of a house tool, or the house guys can't say, I can't scratch on that. It does everything.